3. Colbert converts again.
Outside to Clavel. Pull up 20-footer. Goal! Bounce past the Duffy's left hand.
CTV Sports! Hello, and finally, welcome back to the very first episode of CTV Sports after a very long break. I'm Olivia Landis.
And I'm Karlee Schwartzkopf. We hope you miss us as much as we miss you, but more importantly, we hope you miss sports.
The Colorado State men's basketball team skidded its losing streak to a halt after defeating Utah State 64-56 this past weekend. The Rams jumped out to an early lead over the Aggies and never let up, bumping the Rams to 12-8 overall and 4-3 in the Mountain West. Senior forward Emmanuel Amagbo spurred the Rams' lead early on in the game, helping assist the Rams to a quick 12-point gap in the first half, with the Rams scoring over 50% from field goal range. Amagbo led all scorers with 20 points and a game-high 16 rebounds, recording his 10th double-double of the season. This puts Amagbo at the top of the league in that category. Colorado State outshot Utah State 42-36% on field goal attempts, with CSU senior guard Gene Clavel throwing in 15 points and sophomore Prentice Nixon adding 14 of his own. Jalen Moore for the Aggies added 14 points, but the Rams held the Aggies to a season-low shooting percentage on overall field goals and three-pointers. The Rams return home to Moby Arena this Wednesday to take on San Jose State. Now, the highlights that you all just saw were last season's 2016 Utah State against Colorado State. Thanks to the athletic department. Just wanted you guys to see how those two teams played against each other. But Karlee, really the big story with Utah State and Colorado State men's basketball team this past weekend was how Colorado State almost gave this game up. They almost let up, especially in that last 5 minutes of play.
Yeah, and that has kind of been a common theme for Colorado State this season, losing basketball games by 2 or 3 points, playing great all game, and then giving up a layup or making a dumb foul and having them make a couple free throws. So Colorado State definitely needs to perfect that before going to the Mountain West tournament. Yeah,
they definitely do always come out hot, and then they seem to struggle a little bit to finish. However, they did pull this one off. They did only win by 8 points, and this team, Utah State, they are struggling a little bit in Mountain West play so far. But Colorado State so far 4-3 in Mountain West Conference. I think if they want to continue to succeed, they're going to have to be able to perfect finishing that game strong.
Yeah, and this is a completely different basketball team than we saw start this season. They do only have 7 players, 3 being ineligible due to academic issues. So that changes a lot for Colorado State. The team really has to adjust. You have to bring in some big guys who might not be as comfortable, making big plays down low. So hopefully Colorado State can perfect their different team play now.
You also have to consider with those 3 players that did become ineligible halfway through the season that Colorado State has had to play some of the bench players that didn't play too much at the beginning of the season. I mean, Eustace did say he had 9 players that could play at any point in the game. However, we didn't always see a lot of those players get time. For example, Braden Colliker. Now he's going to have to be one of those big guys that steps up. So Colorado State, you also have to give them a little bit of credit because they might be getting a lot more tired than these teams. They're really running themselves down with only 2 bench players.
Yeah, this team has handled adversity fairly well and has been playing good with 7 players. Larry Eustace, I also think, is making a big, message to Mountain West teams too, that with 7 players, this team can still be successful.
Well, let's take a look at what some of the fans had to say during the Utah State and Colorado State game. This first tweet came during the game from a Utah State fan. And this is a little bit of a digger to Colorado State. He tweeted, "Our gas prices are higher than your GPA." Obviously, we heard it the entire game that Utah State fans were being pretty ruthless to the CSU Rams players. And this just goes to show that they were taking a dig at those players that are ineligible. However, the ineligibility and the only having 2 players on the bench has not stopped CSU so far.
Yeah, and fans are going to be ruthless regardless, and CSU has definitely given a lot of other teams, something to dig at them for, but it's up to Colorado State to, see how they react to that, and those 7 players have reacted very well.
Yeah, they did react pretty well to those players.
Yeah. Let's take another tweet from a professional reporter this time, not just a fan. And Kelly Lyles stated that, Emmanuel Amagbo is 1 rebound away from his 10th double-double of the season with 14 points and 9 boards. I think he's the MVP for the Colorado State Rams this season. Consistent on double-doubles, has stepped up for Colorado State, especially with those 7 players. He has been a player for Larry Eustachy that he knows every single game this guy is going to play for the Rams. He's going to put up points regardless of who they're playing. He's scared of pretty much no one.
Yeah, and there has been a lot of talk so far that Emmanuel Amagbo, if he continues the way he's been playing so far in the season, might possibly be up for Mountain West Player of the Year. And we also have to talk about how he is leading the conference in double-doubles. He had a season-high 16 rebounds. So if he continues to play the way that he does, I don't think CSU is going to have too much trouble, especially on the rebounding side, but as well as offense. Put up 20 points. So if he can stay consistent, that's going to play a huge role in Colorado State's offense.
Yeah, he's a great player offensively and defensively and is completely consistent. You can't ask for more as a coach.
Let's take one final look at the last tweet that we saw. It was from a CSU Rams fan. And a CSU Rams fan tweeted to the Utah State student section, cannot get the words out there. Today, 7 is greater than 15. Go Rams. See you in February. It's a pretty bold statement, and like we discussed earlier, it's definitely true. Colorado State's 7 players compared to Utah State's total of 15. They're still able to get that win. That speaks loudly to this team.
Yeah, Colorado State, we've said it a million times, they only have 7 players. And I know personally as a player, that means more playing time too, which also means you can really get into the swing of the game. And I think that also helps Colorado State as well.
Looking forward to how they handle it for the rest of the conference play.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like the Colorado State women's basketball team is unstoppable after sealing a 74-43 win over Utah State. The Rams have now won 27 of their last conference opponents and are looking to make a run for the big Mountain West Championship game come early March. The Rams, who now sit 14-5 and 6-1 in the Mountain West, opened the period on a 6-0 run against the Aggies and allowed only 1 basket throughout the entire second period. Colorado State headed into halftime with a 39-15 lead, scoring 15 points themselves in the second period. Utah State did fight back in the third quarter, matching Colorado State's 18 points, but fell short in the fourth, ultimately losing 74-43. Seniors Ellen Gustafsson and Ellen Nystrom combined for 42 points against Utah State, making 18 out of their 23 shots. Gustafsson checked off her 3rd double-double of the season with 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. Sophomore Karlee Kaiser helped out her senior teammates, tacking on 15 points and 4 assists. Overall, the Rams shot 56.6%, their now highest field goal percentage in a single game this season. Having now won 5 consecutive Mountain West games, the Colorado State women's team heads to San Jose State on January 25th and back home to Moby Arena on the 28th to play San Diego State. We just talked about the boys team and how they have handled adversity. This Colorado State women's team has been consistent across the board. 2 phenomenal senior leaders. Both Ellens have been Mountain West Player of the Week consistently. Ellen Nystrom, Colorado basketball player. She is phenomenal. This girls' team is strong. They have great team chemistry. Going to be an awesome run in the Mountain West tournament this year.
Yeah, I don't think consistency is a problem on the women's basketball team. They've won 27 out of their last 28 conference games. That is huge. It just shows that they've had time after time again. They've won that Mountain West Conference title. And this team, like you said, these 2 leaders, Gustafsson and Nystrom, they are really the backbone of this team. Nystrom has been racking up the points, and when you put those 2 together, it's hard to stop those 2.
Yeah, it definitely is. And winning 5 consecutive Mountain West games in a row kind of goes to show that the Mountain West is not really good competition for this team, which is why I also think they are going to make a huge run in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, last year, unfortunately they were out after that first round. But, this team, like we've said, under Coach Ryan Williams, who has been a tremendous coach. Last year he was Mountain West Coach of the Year. And to have, like we said, that consistency and the players that are able to always show up, always make those plays, and have that coaching ability, I think they're going to be able to make a better run in the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This team is strong, and these ladies rock.
Well, the CSU swimming and diving team celebrated its 9 seniors in front of family, friends, and fans at Moby Pool this past weekend. However, the Wyoming Cowgirls didn't let the celebration phase them as they pulled away with a 173.5 to 126.5 victory over the Rams. CSU sophomore Haley Rowley led the Rams while tallying 3 individual wins and contributed 27 points for the Rams. CSU also swept the backstroke events, with Tanisha Thomas winning the 200 and Round Hauber taking the 100. The Rams also had multiple runner-ups throughout the events. Despite the loss, though, the 9 seniors were recognized in front of a cheerful Moby Pool crowd, including our very own sports crew member Elizabeth Prossi. Up next, CSU divers will head to Colorado Springs for the Air Force Diving Invitational next weekend. The next dual meet for the Rams will be at home against Northern Colorado on February 1st. Well, it's time for our first break.
But coming up next, we have track and women tennis updates.
Into KCSU, your student-run radio station at Colorado State University. Live 24 hours a day, every day at 90.5 FM and kcsufm.com. Live local new music now, and news, talk, and sports. KCSU, the radio voice of Colorado State, on the air since 1964.
You're watching CTV, produced by Colorado State University students, bringing you news, weather, sports, and entertainment from campus and beyond. CTV live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. on campus and Fort Collins on Channel 11. Repeats at midnight, 8 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m.
The Rocky Mountain Collegian is your student-run news and information platform. Pick up your paper on campus or around Fort Collins Monday through Thursday with special editions Fridays. And check out collegian.com anytime for all the latest updates. News, sports, entertainment, opinion, and more. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, serving Colorado State since 1891.
College Avenue has been your student magazine for the last 10 years. College Avenue prints once a month, covering topics that are relevant to the CSU and Fort Collins community. We also print special editions like the graduation guides at the end of each semester, the best of CSU each fall, and the orientation guide each summer. Look for us on racks around campus, off campus, or online at collegian.com under the College Avenue tab.
The Colorado State men's track and field team received some national attention this past month after being named 9th in the nation for preseason rankings, which is the highest indoor rank the Rams have ever received, according to the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association. The Rams are predicted to win the Mountain West and finish their season overall on a high note. One key athlete attributing to this ranking is junior Hunter Price, who recorded a score of nearly 6,000 points in the heptathlon, currently the second best score in the nation. Another multi-athlete is junior Nick Kravick and Josh Cogdale, who both should score in the heptathlon at conference. The Rams also have 2 All-American distance runners, Jefferson Abbey and Gerald Mock. Aside from the track, the Rams are also skilled in the throwing events, with another All-American, Mustafa Hassan, who is currently ranked number 1 in the nation for shot put. The success for the Rams has already started with an impressive past weekend performance. Sophomore distance runner Cole Rockhold and senior Lorenda Holston were named Mountain West Indoor Track and Field Athletes of the Week, where Holston broke a school record of 18.18 in the 60-meter hurdles. Her time also ranks 5th best in Mountain West history. The sophomore stud runner Cole Rockhold clocked in a 4:02-minute mile, ranking him now the 4th fastest miler in the nation. The Rams will split up for 2 different meets on the weekend of February 3rd and 4th, but you can catch most of the field events at the University of Colorado.
With a new head coach and plenty of fresh talent coming into this year, the women's tennis team looks forward to a bright future in this coming season. Welcome to Ram Vision's update with women's tennis head coach Jared Camerata. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I'm Olivia Landis. Now, Coach, besides the 4 new freshmen that you've incorporated into this season, who are some key players that you think were going to make a huge impact on this season?
Well, besides the 4 freshmen, we have 2 seniors, Madison Porter and Celine Voss, and we're looking really for them to provide a lot of leadership in our matches, and also another returner, Emily Colbaugh. She's a sophomore, but she's got a year of match experience in, so I think she'll bring us a lot of leadership as well.
If any teams at all come to mind, what are some of the competition that you are excited about in this Mountain West Conference for this season?
Well, in our division, it's really tight, and I think we get into a lot of great matches. And then we end the season with our conference tournament at UNLV, and our goal is to peak in April.
Do you believe that since your team is a little bit younger, that some competition looks at that as an advantage, or do you believe it's an advantage on your part because you do have new fresh players that are eager to get this competition rolling?
Yeah, I think it works for and against you. The experience factor is important, but also a lot of the teams have never seen these 4 freshmen play, so they don't know how they play. And so it works for you, it works against you a little bit, but I think in the end it evens out.
Well, thank you so much to head coach Jared Camerata. That wraps up this week's Ram Vision preseason women's tennis update. I'm Olivia Landis. As you can tell, head coach Jared Camerata and the players are eager to start this season off right as a team and snag some conference wins.
Well, that wraps up our first CTV Sports show of the semester.
But as always, follow Karlee and I on our Twitter accounts and CTV Channel 11's YouTube page for current sports video updates throughout the rest of the semester.
And for now, we leave you with the best of CSU men's basketball dunks of the season so far. We'll see you next week, Rams.